Clair Obscur Expedition 33 very well may have the highest user score on Metacritic of any video game of all time. Think about it. It has a higher user score than Baldur's Gate 3. It has a higher user score than any of the Legend of Zelda games. It has a higher user score than Half-Life 2. It has a higher user score than any of the Persona games. It has a higher user score than Bluey the video game. That's pretty crazy. So why does this game have such a high user score? Where did this critical acclaim come from? For what reasons is this game topping Steam charts for player count? Well, Expedition 33 is an incredible game. I'm having a great time with it, and I can say it is definitely worth picking up and playing. But I don't think that the user scores for this game mean that it's the greatest game ever made. I think that they're more of a reflection of the current modern gaming landscape. Let me explain. In the last 5 years or so, the modern gaming industry has really taken a decline, especially Western AAA developers. Many of these game developers now prioritize greed over passion and creativity, leading the products that they put out for their consumers to oftentimes be unfinished, uncreative, bland, and completely oversaturated with predatory monetization tactics. Seriously, a lot of these games' monetization schemes are more well thought out than the game's mechanics itself, or even the storyline of these games. These developers would rather try and make a quick buck off of a big name in the gaming industry than actually try to put effort into making a good product, leaving us with skeletons, leaving us actually worse, with desecrated graves of the franchises we once knew and loved. Games like Halo, Gears of War, Call of Duty, Dragon Age, Fallout, the list goes on.
Am I really gonna defile this grave for money? Of course I am!
So then when we get a game like Expedition 33 coming out, it stands out and shines among all the filth that we're expected to consume in the modern gaming landscape. So why is Expedition 33 so critically acclaimed right now? Why is it so overly praised? Well, there's a few reasons. First of all, the very first thing that catches everyone's eye is the visual style of this game. Now, I am a firm believer that graphics don't necessarily make a game good or bad. There are many great games with subpar graphics, and there are a lot of dog water games with amazing graphics.
That would be the dog's breakfast, Your Majesty.
Yes!
But Clair Obscur Expedition 33 definitely stands out visually, not only because of its graphical fidelity, but also because of its unique visual style. The art direction in this game is absolutely gorgeous. Seriously, the blend between things that we find familiar in daily life, thrown into a fantasy setting, with a mix of modern and early modern clothing and technology, just creates a very unique world. The character and enemy designs in this game are extremely unique. Secondly, this game's story is quite strong. In the modern gaming landscape and even film landscape, there seems to be a very weak sense of storytelling among a lot of modern writers. Whether the stories just be flat out boring, or riddled with plot holes, or just even not creative at all. Because Expedition 33 is from a brand new franchise, there's new characters, a new story, a new world to be immersed in. The setting is very unique and original, with a deity-like creature called the Paintress, making a giant yearly countdown from 100 to 0, where every year, everybody of that age dies, which completely changes the way humanity views the value of life and how they spend their limited, precious time. Those with less time left take expeditions out to where the Paintress is in the middle of the ocean to try and destroy her in hopes that they can stop this mass extinction from happening. The game's storytelling approach is much more of a show and don't tell, which is both a strength and a weakness, I will admit, for this game. It's a strength in the sense that it makes the story much more immersive. Like, you don't start the game and immediately receive an absolute dump of exposition through a character or a text crawl. It just throws you right into the world and to view the perspectives of the main characters. And this is really strong because as the story progresses, the player learns more and more about the world and they get to know it. Rather than just being told everything, they get to experience it. And sometimes the weakness of this is that there's just so many new names for different types of monsters and abilities and places that it can sometimes feel like you're the person who's left outside of an inside joke between your friends and they keep referencing it. You obviously will get to know more as the story progresses, but it can be a little difficult to the story when certain things are never explained at all. Terms like Nevrons, Gestrels, Lumina, Chroma, you can kind of get a sense of what most of these things are when you encounter them, but it would help to have some kind of clever way of expositing these terms to the player without breaking the immersion of the game. Lastly, this game employs a very unique turn-based combat system. Now this is what really surprised me. I didn't think a turn-based RPG would become this popular, especially mainstream. Now I know Baldur's Gate 3 is turn-based technically, but Baldur's Gate 3 also comes from a studio that is very well known in the gaming community, and the turn-based system is quite different than Expedition 33. It just is usually pretty rare in general when turn-based games become this mainstream. Now Expedition 33 has a turn-based combat system like many JRPGs, but the unique aspect is that the game uses an interactive, real-time mechanic when attacking or being attacked that allows the player to dodge, parry, or empower their attack depending on how good their timing is. This makes the battle system a lot more interactive and a lot more engaging. I know it's not the only turn-based RPG that has a mechanic like this, but overall, this mechanic is pretty unique to the genre in general. Not a lot of turn-based RPGs use mechanics like this, and because this game is so cinematic, it is just so incredibly satisfying to land a perfect parry, a perfect dodge, or to empower your attack during battle. One weakness about the gameplay loop of Expedition 33 I find is that oftentimes when you're exploring the world, progressing through the dungeons, and continuing along the story, there's not a whole lot to do outside of just fighting enemies and progressing the story. Outside of shooting 3 glowing locks to open a weird glowing chest that seem to appear in every dungeon, there's really no puzzles or skilled platforming that keeps the gameplay loop fresh. There are some optional platforming mini games as well as other types of mini games. Don't even get me started on volleyball. We're gonna be here for hours if that's the case. But the platforming mechanics in this game are a little bit clunky. Obviously the game isn't designed to be a 3D platformer like Super Mario Odyssey or something, so at least it's just a small optional portion of the game. I will say that I think the best part of the gameplay loop in Expedition 33, other than the battle system, is exploring the world. The world map continuously gets bigger and bigger the farther you progress in the game. As you unlock new upgrades for SKA, more and more of the map opens up for you, which allows you to explore many new areas that you couldn't before and fight new enemies, get new items, and find new side quests to do. But I will say that because the battle system in this game is so unique and fun, it definitely carries it. It definitely carries the gameplay aspect. The game isn't perfect, nor do I think that it's the best game of all time, but I think that this insanely high praise and this critical acclaim that this game is receiving from the gaming community is a testament to how much the modern gaming landscape has declined, in the sense that it sends a message to game developers that these are the types of games that gamers want to play. These are the type of games that we want to be made. Games that are creative, fun, and fueled by passion and making a great game rather than fueled by greed and thinking of new ways to monetize it. Have good storytelling, take risks, and are fairly priced. This game released at a price tag of $50 US. Most games these days release at $70, sometimes even $80. Expedition 33 is a love letter to gamers, and it's a shining example of how developers should approach making games in the future.